In 1972, Oldsmobile celebrated its 75th birthday with a special 75th anniversary edition of its 98 that it called the Regency, which was the first year that name was offered. To produce the car, they partnered with Tiffany and Company to produce a special commemorative clock. And all 1972-98 Regency Tiffany editions were painted a special exterior gold color called Tiffany Gold that was created for this car. The car was powered by Oldsmobile's Rocket 455 engine. It was the last year before EGR systems came about. And it was rated at 250 brake horsepower and 375 foot-pounds of torque. This particular car is one of the 2,650 that were produced as the anniversary editions, and has 148,000 miles on it. I bought it this past weekend from the grandson of the original owner, so it had been in the same family since 1972. It has had one very high quality repaint job in the early 80s and was then parked in 1986 for the next 31 years. 3 years ago, in 2017, it was removed from storage and brought back to life. And it still looks just as beautiful now as it did then. The special edition, as I mentioned, was called the Regency and involved a particularly luxurious ultra plush interior with pillow top upholstery, gold stitching of the Regency logo, this upholstery and interior essentially dictated the interior of luxury cars for the next, I don't know how many years. It was the first time pillow top upholstery had been used, and they put an incredible level of detail into the appointments in this car. This particular one has tilt and telescoping steering wheel, air conditioning, cruise, rear defog, etc., as you would expect on a high-end luxury car of the time. It has an AM radio, no FM, with an 8-track, which does work. And as I mentioned, it has the Tiffany clock, which does not work, so I will have to look into getting that rebuilt and repaired. And we'll, of course, take a peek under the hood as usual. And here you find everything you need and nothing you don't. As you can see, the air conditioning compressor was replaced back in the past. The POA valve is original. The gold color that they painted these was similar to a gold that Oldsmobile offered in the rest of its lineup that year, but this Tiffany gold had a little bit more of a greenish tinge to it. And was therefore a very specific color, as I mentioned, only for these 2,650 cars that were produced. So here it is, 48 years later, 148,000 miles. I just picked it up this past weekend, drove it home 600 miles or so on the highway. Incredibly comfortable 600 miles, no issues whatsoever. Got about 11 or 12 miles per gallon, which is about what you'd expect from these. It was fairly normal back then. So just thought I'd let everybody see 1972 Oldsmobile 98 Regency Tiffany edition, 48 years later.